Foreign banks seeking to grant loans to Nigerian companies in dollars will now have to pay a non-refundable application fee of 5 million naira and a non-refundable licensing fee of 10 million naira. That's approximately $38,760 cumulatively to establish credit outposts in the country, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. The new policy is aimed at regulating the activities of foreign banks in Nigeria and ensuring that they comply with the country's laws and regulations. The CBN has also stated that representative offices in Nigeria will be required to pay the same fees. Now, the move is expected to generate revenue for the government and promote transparency in the banking sector. Now, to discuss this, I have Akin Fatunke with me. He's a chartered accountant. It's nice to have you join us, Akin, on the show.
Thank you very much, and greetings to our listeners.
So, foreign banks can now grant loans, or it's an operation whereby they grant loans to Nigerian companies, business institutions, and of course, individuals. And of course, it is dollar denominated. So I'd like to know why that obtains. Does it have to do with the disparity between the naira and the dollar, or maybe due to growing demands, or there's some critical situations that we're having within the Nigeria ecosystem that is causing these banks to have these sort of operations in Nigeria?
It's one word, Lekan, financial stability. Financial stability. Stabilizing the Nigerian financial system, which, like accountants will naturally tell you, say debit and credit, liabilities and assets that must be put together under strict regulation to adjust and regulate your terms of trade with those who you are doing business with. Now, I would like to say that I won't say it's coming too little, but perhaps too late. To the best of my understanding, this has always been there. Now, the CBN and the federal government of Nigeria now being cash-strapped is now a swan song that we are hearing right from the horse's mouth. My friend Ben Akabozi, I just told us one time again that Nigeria has the revenue challenge vis-a-vis servicing efficiently the loan portfolio that we are getting. It is getting to that point that to begin to now get funds to do its recurring, not even talking about capital projects now, is getting very charged. And so what has they done? Done the books. It's always been there. The regulation has always been there. Hammer has always maintained that. Bofia Acts of 2020, Section 6.1 and Section 8.1 has always been there. We have virtually slept on those rights because we kept on thinking that we could continue to get free, easy money from crude. Now that crude has gone southwards, production has nosedived, and our crave to want to now expand our capital base. You know, a capital investment is there. Government has no other choice to fall back to policy, and that policy is cooking the books, looking for all loose ends that has not been taken care of before to be able to shore up revenue for government. That, in my mind, is the main reason why this is being. There are other anti-general reasons, of course. Hopefully, we are going to get our acts together, the Finance Act of the 2022, and the incentives to try and see how we can douse the outlays that the subsidy regime, our multiple exchange rates regime, which has not helped in any way for forward planning, it's now beginning to now then say, hey, wait a minute, pay your taxes, make sure that technology transfer is adequately still here, and then expose more of our exports and exporters of your products to your foreign markets. I remember very well some 20, 30 years ago at the advent of AGOA, Those were issues that we needed to have taken care of to help us. That after has also come and has made Nigeria very, very, very uncompetitive compared to other, African countries.
All right, Akin,
Production.
yes, it's quite interesting because not many people saw it from the angle of you saying that the end game for the federal government is to generate as much revenue as it could because it is cash-strapped. Because what so many people focused on was the need to be stringent in terms of the operations of these foreign banks and to ensure that they do not milk the Nigerian economy and have monies repatriated while they provide services to Nigeria as it were. But then let's look at it on the other side. Let's just look at it on the other side of the business angle. Now, looking at the financial aspect now, it's been said that financial experts have advised these Nigerian banks or Nigerian companies not to collect loans that are dollar denominated because there are associated risks. Now, with this particular move, do you think that these Nigerian companies will be able to mitigate the risks and, of course, reduce the cost of borrowing?
Lekan, let me start from where we stop. Okay. Yes, that is mainly one of the reasons. Of course, on the other side of it, there are many advantages that this is naturally going to confer. Unfortunately, straight to your question now, the Naira-dollar parity and the efficiency of the workings of the Nigerian trade balances is not favorable. And so what we are trying to do now is just say, look, let's look for all means to try and see how we can make things at par. You will remember very lately, we had challenge in paying the foreign airlines, basically because it's not as if we didn't have the funds. Well, of course, we didn't have it adequately, but we were diverting them to things that are not necessarily helping us to attain what the manufacturing should be attaining now. It cannot, and I repeat, it cannot be decreed just like that. What are the governance issues that we're having here? What about the yahoos that pose themselves to be great businessmen or businesswomen, but they are sent out here to try and find out how to steal and scam? Our debt in foreign denomination is skyrocketed. If we can put proper regulations, and this particular regulation that we're talking about, amidst other regulations that I know CBN has put in place, how have we combed and ensured that we have audited and that we are fully compliant? If we can, and I believe we can, if we put the right structures and the right people in place, and we allow the regulators to work as they should work as regulators, not what I see. I'm afraid I have to say this, I see Central Bank has been doing for some time, and then we'll be on the side. But if it's going to be an old wine in a new wine skin, the wine will spill. Pure and simple. I want a situation where, look, chicken or egg, which one comes first? Let's make sure that we put all the regulations that we need to put. The regulators are working the way they are supposed to work. Nothing of the dots here and there are properly skewed in such a way that the balance of doing trading is going to be open towards Nigeria. Now, it's not coming from Nigeria. It's also from out there. I know that quite a number of people who see Nigeria as a goose that is laying a golden egg, and all what they want to come and do is to suck, put outposts here, and then repatriate a lot of our earnings, convert it, and then take another, and then bring a lot of disequilibrium to our inflation and foreign exchange market. We need to do what we need to do, align our foreign exchange disparities. Let's make it singular. Let's work hard on our low-hanging fruits. Agreed. Music, Nollywood services. Before you know what is happening, they will be the one that will even be coming and trying to bring their businesses here.
All right.
And making sure that Nigerian understood this, okay? Yeah. It's not just sort of just putting an outpost here. Nigerians out there on a thing and backwards are so integrated to help the Nigerian economy. It should not be another avenue where the EFCC and the SCUMU will now begin to run with haste after events, after a lot of these things have gone through.
Okay, Akin. Yes. So do you see a situation whereby these foreign companies will pass the bulk of the payable fees to the consumers because, of course, they will have to pay a cumulative of 15 million naira per company, not per transaction. So would that in a way affect the operations of these foreign companies, affect the operations of their consumers or customers, as the case may be, which is the Nigerian companies or individuals who approach them for loans?
I don't think it should. A proper business that is set up for long term will not look at this poultry, please pardon me, I think it's poultry, vis-a-vis what they have had to make over time, from transfer pricing, from getting, pardon me again, cheap labor, high-end fintech that is voting with their legs and hands outside of Nigeria at cheap, medical, tourism, and what have you. I don't think it should. But the nature of business is such that when you have a very good regulator that is combing the books, and we don't have Nigerians who are just Nigerians, are just appendages, okay, of mental slavery. And naturally, it shouldn't be. The other side of it, which is very important for us to stress, is the fact that it is supposed to help and enhance our local export markets at relatively cheap advert rates. Oh, we have beets in Nigeria. We have coral beets in Nigeria. We have jollof rice that has been taken from Nigeria. We have it right here. We have a finer rice. We have local things that we have in here. Can you please help us expose this, our exporters out there? If you put that in balance, the gain to Nigeria, all things being equal, is going to be far more than these licensing fees that we are talking about. In any case, these foreign banks knew that they ought to pay licensing fees. They knew from the onset. All they are saying, and they keep on saying to Nigeria, if Nigeria chooses to sleep on our rights, who are we? Who are we? So now that that is open, under strict governance rules, things that they will not allow to happen in their jurisdiction, and if we are now saying, please, let's try and do this, let's make sure we do that. They're not going to bribe anybody. It's not going to be under the table. It's going to be straightforward transaction. At the end of 10 periods, we are going to have a look at our MOU that you have with us. What is the net gain? What is the net balance? What is the net inflows? What is the net outflows? How have we helped us to create employment? How have we helped us to create employment for our teeming youths? If we do that and we audit it well, the Federal Minister of Finance, I dare say, will come proudly to come and say, now Nigeria is gaining or is getting great benefit from those things that we have just left out there.
All right, Akin, yes.
Smuggling too will have to be affected in any way. It's another leg of regulation looked at from the angle of security, safety, and some of the laws that our national assemblies are going to be enacted.
All right, so Akin, you have mentioned the fact that you are hopeful or concerned about the fact that these guidelines will be beneficial to Nigeria in terms of job creation and probably revenue benefits to Nigeria, as it were. Now, there are other concerns as regards Nigerian companies who may also offer the same kind of services that these foreign companies also offer. And it's been said that it might not give them the competitive edge, despite the fact that they are indigenous companies and they're domiciled in Nigeria. So looking at the guidelines that you mentioned, according to what we have, part of the guideline for securing a license stipulate that such foreign entities can conduct research in Nigeria, operate as a liaison between foreign parents and local banks and private institutions in Nigeria and others. So these could be part of what some Nigerian companies also offer in terms of services and their research and their modus operandi in terms of operations. Now, so don't you think that this would, in a way, stifle indigenous operations or indigenous Nigerian companies?
Lekan, the world is now a sea page. By that, I mean competition, collaboration, if you want to continue to exist. There is absolutely no way henceforth that we can continue to say that we are going to continue to protect our industries, we are going to give, pioneer status to our industries, even you come out to produce. And if you are not competitive, for crying out loud, influx from China and elsewhere will just flood and make you just name it. I see the challenge that you have mentioned from the other end. Why, for instance, will the Nigerian companies that are supposed to be researching, we should be better at such research? Why will it stifle us? Then we up our game. We lower our costs of doing business. We lower corruption. We put it aside. We say to the world, we say to ourselves and to the world, I am a Nigerian. As I always say, I am a Nigerian. I'm a very proud Nigerian. I have the wherewithal, the technical skills. Yes, I might be shortchanged here and there because of the environment I operate in, but I can operate at any pedestal with anybody outside there who have better means and technology. So if I don't have the better technologies, how can I go around it? That will not permit me to prove and tell you a couple of things that has happened to me in my private sector experience. People came and said, no, there's no way you can compete. There's no way you can do research. There's no way you can do all that. And we left it to them. They went in there and they thought global, but we were able to think local. So when they put all those research, they came back to Nigeria, it just did not work. So you need a proper keys of the black keys and the white keys of a piano to get an orchestra. We have what it takes. We have the population. We have the resilience. We have the capacity. And don't forget, relatively, labor is somehow somewhat cheap. All what we just need is that enabling environment. Just give it to us. Like they say, give me the tool and I will deliver. I will deliver the devil. Lekan, are you not aware? I'm sounding soft, but it's very relevant to what we are discussing here. Are you not aware that from nowhere, a Tiwa Savage will now be at the coronation? Discovered here in Nigeria, going out there and doing some great things. Are you not aware that from the bottom, so-called pit of the Nigerian system, we have an Osimhen who is doing great things out there in Nigeria. We have so many people that can do it better. In my experience, Europeans have come to me and say, how do you survive this? They do not think it's possible for you to survive. And I say, yeah, you can survive.
Okay,
I can make things a little bit better. That is all.
Thank you very much.
For me, it's not going to be an excuse. Okay. If I'm not competing well enough, if I'm afraid that, my research here and there, go and see the kind of research that we have done into Kunu. Okay,
Akin, there's going to be a day. There's going to be a day where we'll have you. We're going to entertain you, and you tell your own side of the business story to inspire so many Nigerians, so many Africans, and so many African businesses, as it were. And I tell you that New Central is also telling the African story in a better way, in a better light, and we're projecting that image every single day. But then we'll have that platform for you to also do that. Let's just spend the conversation at this point, knowing fully well that there's some good that can come out of this new CBN policy in terms of the guidelines and its implementation. But then what is important is to ensure that right investments and right proper strategy are put in place to achieve as much as they can, most especially to protect the Nigerian business ecosystem, and of course to ensure that these regulations cover all the angles that are necessary on the African side and of course the foreign side to have a more robust business environment on all sides. Thank you so much, Akin. Fatunke, for joining us. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much, Lekan, and you are doing well. And you know, the joy about this is that SMEs are listening to you and they are hearing some of the things that you are saying. Never. Impossible is just not the word for Nigerians.
True.
We're going to scale. We're going to scale that. New government coming in, all of us putting our hands together, Nigeria can compete.
I tap into that optimism. Thank you so much, Akin.